chunk of the path done, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to move the slabs over here across the way. I was going to take them on the ATV with the trailer, but then I was afraid that maybe they'll snap. The last thing I want to do is have a bunch of broken patio slabs, so I'm going to carry them one by one. Well, not carry them, I'm going to cart them in this handy cart. Well, it took an hour, but we got the cart to the location. I'm thinking moving it by hand is not a feasible idea right now. Taking the slabs with the ATV made a lot more sense. So we managed to move all of the blocks, and now we're moving the gravel. We're doing it sort of half on the ATV and then half on the wheelbarrow down this path over here. The gravel's needed for underneath the patio stones. What we're going to do is dig a few inches in, put them down, and put the patio stones on top of that, just to help with the leveling and with a bit of drainage. Here's a pro tip. If you're going to be doing stuff like this, it's always sensible to stash a beverage somewhere in the forest. That way when you get thirsty, you can just drop it in the stream over here, let it cool down for a bit, and have a nice cool beverage. We did a rough of the frame, we put it together, and we placed it exactly where we want the bunkie to be. So we're cutting 32 by 32 inch squares. Each of these squares should be more than enough to accommodate our 24 by 24 inch concrete slab, like these guys over here. So we've got one of the holes dug. I just wanted to show it to you. Looks like that. The hole is about 6 inches deep, oh, maybe 9. I think that should be more than enough so that the gravel drains properly and creates a good base for the cement pads. The next step is to cover it with a bit of biofabric and fill her up. Well, we're sort of into the afternoon, but we got it done. 8 concrete platforms with our tough blocks. Our next step is going to be squaring and leveling everything. That I'm not going to try to do on my own because I am a complete slacker, and we really need somebody that's going to pay attention and make sure that everything is level and everything is square, which is not me. We've laid down the foundation stones, and what we realized is that it's pretty low on one side, so rather than raise it up using gravel, what we're going to do is we're going to use some other paving stones that we got, 16 by 16s. That's bigger than the 12 by 12 feet that we have, and raising it up should be a lot easier and a lot safer that way rather than using gravel.
And today we have our own little personal helper and our engineer.
Let's try to line these up.
Always putting everybody to work.
So we're putting the Pilex adjustable deck supports on top of the tough blocks, and then we've got our 2x6s on top of those. Underneath all of it is some perfectly leveled cement slabs, thanks to my wife and my dad. So we've managed to put down 2 beams. Now we just have to get the cross beams going across there. It took a while, but what took the time was fixing up all the concrete slabs. If you can see, what I've done is I've taken the gravel and I've just put it around the slabs just to give a little bit more seepage. So if things seep in, at least it's the gravel that's seeping in. I don't know if that's going to help, but I think it looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure these guys down, make sure it's all aligned, and then I am going to put in the brackets. Once those guys are in, it's just a matter of putting it onto the existing beams. So with the sun going down, it dawned on me that initially I was going to put these things on really tight like this, but it makes more sense to just put them in really loosely. Then I'm going to slap the cross beams in, and after those beams are in, we're laughing. That's when I tighten everything up. I had a great idea while I was sleeping. I thought, how do I hang these cross beams on these beams? Well, I've got hangers. So I'm just going to flip one upside down and see if that actually works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer out these little sticky outy bits. These guys I figure I can hammer straight back into the wood, so they're good to go. I just need to keep it really tight so that it slides in between the two 2x6s. And there we have it. Nice and squished and ready to put in. So, based on that, I'm thinking it's going to be 1.5 inches in, and that guy goes in, and it should hang perfectly. Oh my god, it actually worked. This is proof positive that solutions come when you dream. So all we need to do now is slide the long beams straight into these perfectly positioned hangers. And there you have it. Foundation for a bunkie. Only thing left to do is put the cross beams in, tighten the long beams onto the hangers, and we should have something that's ready for a floor. Took a bit longer than we thought, but we got it done. So we're going to open it up, take all the pieces into the basement, and get it ready for assembly. So one thing that baffles me is that the pieces that you need to start the entire process that you put the floor on are at the bottom of the pallet. So we have to clear everything off to get down to these pieces down here. And just in case you were wondering, this is what was inside the pallet. You've got windows, doors, and all the wood that you could ever need to put your bunkies together. In addition, a ladder, and what amazed me, hardware. So they give you all the screws you need, as well as all of the hardware that you need for the doors and the windows. I'm pretty amazed. It took a while, but we finally got the first of the floor bits to the bunkie space. I'm going to clear off the snow, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down the bubble foil wrap, and then some insulation, and then some plastic. Then I'm going to put down the boards that the floors go on top, and we shall have the first bit of the floors done.
We rolled the bubble wrap out and stapled it directly to the joints. Then we sealed the joints with aluminum tape.
So we discovered an ingenious way of putting down the tape there. By elongating our arms with wood. So we've managed to put the joists in, the insulation, the vapor barrier, and we put it all on top of this bubbly aluminum wrap. Now the wrap's great because it's going to give us insulation as well as keep the little critters out, which is kind of important in a place like this.